Chapter 28. If you desert God's law. The wicked are edgy with guilt, ready to run off even when no one's after them. Honest people are relaxed and confident, bold as lions. When the country is in chaos, everybody has a plan to fix it. But it takes a leader of real understanding to straighten things out. The wicked who oppress the poor are like a hailstorm that beats down the harvest. If you desert God's law, you're free to embrace depravity. If you love God's law, you fight for it tooth and nail. Justice makes no sense to the evil-minded. Those who seek God know it inside and out. It's better to be poor and direct than rich and crooked. Practice God's law. Get a reputation for wisdom. Hang out with a loose crowd. Embarrass your family. Get as rich as you want through cheating and extortion. But eventually, some friend of the poor is going to give it all back to them. God has no use for the prayers of the people who won't listen to him. Lead good people down a wrong path, and you'll come to a bad end. Do good, and you'll be rewarded for it. The rich think they know it all, but the poor can see right through them. When good people are promoted, everything is great. But when the bad are in charge, watch out. You can't whitewash your sins and get by with it. You find mercy by admitting and leaving them. A tender-hearted person lives a blessed life. A hard-hearted person lives a hard life. Lions roar and bears charge, and the wicked lord it over the poor. Among leaders who lack insight, abuse abounds. But for one who hates corruption, the future is bright. A murderer haunted by guilt is doomed. There's no helping him. Walk straight, live well, and be saved. A devious life is a doomed life. Doing great harm in seemingly harmless ways. Work your garden, you'll end up with plenty of food. Play and party, you'll end up with an empty plate. Committed and persistent work pays off. Get-rich-quick schemes are rip-offs. Playing favorites is always a bad thing. You can do great harm in seemingly harmless ways. A miser in a hurry to get rich doesn't know that he'll end up broke. In the end, serious reprimand is appreciated far more than bootlicking flattery. Anyone who robs father and mother and says, "So what's wrong with that?" is worse than a pirate. A grasping person stirs up trouble, but trust in God brings a sense of well-being. If you think you know it all, you're a fool for sure. Real survivors learn wisdom from others. Be generous to the poor. You'll never go hungry. Shut your eyes to their needs and run a gauntlet of curses. When corruption takes over, good people go underground. But when the crooks are thrown out, it's safe to come out. Chapter 29. If people can't see what God is doing. For people who hate discipline and only get more stubborn, there'll come a day when life tumbles in and they break. But by then it'll be too late to help them. When good people run things, everyone is glad. But when the ruler is bad, everyone groans. If you love wisdom, you'll delight your parents. But you'll destroy their trust if you run with whores. A leader of good judgment gives stability. An exploiting leader leaves a trail of waste. A flattering neighbor is up to no good. He's probably planning to take advantage of you. Evil people fall into their own traps. Good people run the other way, glad to escape. The good-hearted understand what it's like to be poor. The hard-hearted haven't the faintest idea. A gang of cynics can upset a whole city. A group of sages can calm everyone down. A sage trying to work things out with a fool gets only scorn and sarcasm for his trouble. Murderers hate honest people. Moral folks encourage them. A fool lets it all hang out. A sage quietly mulls it over. When a leader listens to malicious gossip, all the workers get infected with evil. The poor and their abusers have at least something in common. They can both see. Their sight, God's gift. Leadership gains authority and respect when the voiceless poor are treated fairly. Wise discipline imparts wisdom. Spoiled adolescents embarrass their parents. When degenerates take charge, crime runs wild, but the righteous will eventually observe their collapse. Discipline your children. You'll be glad you did. They'll turn out delightful to live with. If people can't see what God is doing, they stumble all over themselves. But when they attend to what He reveals, they are most blessed. It takes more than talk to keep workers in line. Mere words go in one ear and out the other. Observe the people who always talk before they think. Even simpletons are better off than they are. If you let people treat you like a doormat, you'll be quite forgotten in the end. Angry people stir up a lot of discord. The intemperate stir up trouble. Pride lands you flat on your face. Humility prepares you for honors. Befriend an outlaw and become an enemy to yourself. When the victims cry out, you'll be included in their curses if you're a coward to their cause in court. The fear of human opinion disables. Trusting in God protects you from that. Everyone tries to get help from the leader, but only God will give us justice. Good people can't stand the sight of deliberate evil. The wicked can't stand the sight of well-chosen goodness. Chapter 30. The words of Agur ben Yaka. God, who needs him? The skeptic swore, "There is no God. No God. I can do anything I want. I'm more animal than human. So-called human intelligence escapes me. I flunked wisdom. I see no evidence of a holy God. Has anyone ever seen anyone climb into heaven and take charge? Grab the winds and control them? Gather the rains in his bucket? Stake out the ends of the earth? Just tell me his name. Tell me the names of his sons. Come on now, tell me." The believer replied, "Every promise of God proves true. He protects everyone who runs to him for help. So don't second guess him. He might take you to task and show up your lies." And then he prayed, "God, I'm asking for 2 things before I die. Don't refuse me. Banish lies from my lips and liars from my presence. Give me enough food to live on, neither too much nor too little. If I'm too full, I might get independent, saying, 'God, who needs him?' If I'm poor, I might steal and dishonor the name of my God. Don't blow the whistle on your fellow workers behind their backs. They'll accuse you of being underhanded, and then you'll be the guilty one. Don't curse your father or fail to bless your mother. Don't imagine yourself to be quite presentable when you haven't had a bath in weeks. Don't be stuck up and think you're better than everyone else. Don't be greedy, merciless, and cruel as wolves, tearing into the poor and feasting on them, shredding the needy to pieces, only to discard them. A leech has twin daughters named Gimme and Gimme More. 4 insatiables. 3 things are never satisfied. No, there are 4 that never say, "That's enough, thank you." Hell, a barren womb, a parched land, a forest fire. An eye that disdains a father and despises a mother, that eye will be plucked out by wild vultures and consumed by young eagles. 4 mysteries. 3 things amaze me. No, 4 things I'll never understand. How an eagle flies so high in the sky. How a snake glides over a rock. How a ship navigates the ocean. Why adolescents act the way they do. Here's how a prostitute operates. She has sex with her client, takes a bath, then asks, "Who's next?" 4 intolerables. 3 things are too much for even the earth to bear. Yes, 4 things shake its foundations. When the janitor becomes the boss, when a fool gets rich, when a whore is voted Woman of the Year, when a girlfriend replaces a faithful wife. 4 small wonders. There are 4 small creatures, wisest of the wise they are. Ants, frail as they are, get plenty of food in for the winter. Marmots, vulnerable as they are, manage to arrange for rock-solid homes. Locusts, leaderless insects, yet they strip the field like an army regiment. Lizards, easy enough to catch, but they sneak past vigilant palace guards. 4 dignitaries. There are 3 solemn dignitaries, 4 that are impressive in their bearing. A lion, king of the beasts, deferring to none. A rooster, proud and strutting. A billy goat, a head of state in stately procession. If you're dumb enough to call attention to yourself by offending people and making rude gestures, don't be surprised if someone bloodies your nose. Churned milk turns into butter. Riled emotions turn into fist fights. Chapter 31. Speak out for justice. The words of King Lemuel, the strong advice his mother gave him. Oh, son of mine, what can you be thinking of? Child whom I bore, the son I dedicated to God. Don't dissipate your virility on fortune-hunting women, promiscuous women who shipwreck leaders. Leaders can't afford to make fools of themselves, gulping wine and swilling beer, lest, hungover, they don't know right from wrong, and the people who depend on them are hurt. Use wine and beer only as sedatives, to kill the pain and dull the ache of the terminally ill, for whom life is a living death. Speak up for the people who have no voice, for the rights of all the down and outers. Speak out for justice. Stand up for the poor and destitute. Hymn to a good wife. A good woman is hard to find and worth far more than diamonds. Her husband trusts her without reserve and never has reason to regret it. Never spiteful, she treats him generously all her life long. She shops around for the best yarns and cottons and enjoys knitting and sewing. She's like a trading ship that sails to faraway places and brings back exotic surprises. She's up before dawn, preparing breakfast for her family and organizing her day. She looks over a field and buys it. Then, with money she's put aside, plants a garden. First thing in the morning, she dresses for work, rolls up her sleeves, eager to get started. She senses the worth of her work, is in no hurry to call it quits for the day. She's skilled in the crafts of home and hearth, diligent in homemaking. She's quick to assist anyone in need, reaches out to help the poor. She doesn't worry about her family when it snows. Their winter clothes are all mended and ready to wear. She makes her own clothing and dresses in colorful linens and silks. Her husband is greatly respected when he deliberates with the city fathers. She designs gowns and sells them, brings the sweaters she knits to the dress shops. Her clothes are well made and elegant, and she always faces tomorrow with a smile. When she speaks, she has something worthwhile to say, and she always says it kindly. She keeps an eye on everyone in her household and keeps them all busy and productive. Her children respect and bless her. Her husband joins in with words of praise. Many women have done wonderful things, but you've outclassed them all. Charm can mislead, and beauty soon fades. The woman to be admired and praised is the woman who lives in the fear of God. Give her everything she deserves. Festoon her life with praises.